to the Grab the Map podcast. I'm John Crutchfield, and this is where we don't just look at it, we grab the map. I've been having a great time talking to you guys the last few podcasts. We've had a chance to cover some great topics, but today I thought we'd make a little switch and we talk to somebody who's pretty new to this, but actively doing deals. You know, a lot of times I get emails at grabthemap@gmail.com. People will email me and I respond to every single one. And sometimes I give them advice and I don't know if they actually take action on it. But I've got somebody here who I'd like to introduce you to who's taken action recently and got something done. So let's jump right into it. Ramon Gary, how are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing awesome. How you doing?
Doing good, man. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast. I think you might actually be my first adult guest.
Hey, gotta be the first. You gotta start somewhere, right?
Have you heard the other guests? I had a couple of podcasts with my kids.
I hadn't heard that one.
So I've had some time doing some interviews, and a little bit of experience. But you gotta get to be the first person here.
Yes.
But I want to just talk to you a little bit because I know you've jumped into real estate, you're a successful professional in some other areas. But why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you have going on?
My name is Ramon Gary. I'm from right here in Tupelo, Mississippi. New to the real estate game, but I am really learning a lot. I work in healthcare. I work in the physical therapy field. I'm a physical therapy assistant. I've been doing that about 12 years, married, got 3 kids, and just looking to build my real estate portfolio.
Man, it sounds like you have the typical American dream family situation, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I wonder, with all those things going for you, what made you think that you needed to also do some real estate?
But just probably the last 3 or 4 years, I've been a part of a financial learning community, and we just learn about improving your finances, about building wealth for you and your family. So once I became a part of that community and just started networking and talking to other people, it makes you take a serious look at your own finances. And if you keep doing the same thing, you can kind of see the handwriting on the wall. So if you keep doing those same things and you see it down the road, probably nothing's going to change. So I just kind of reached out and started looking for some other opportunities, some other ways that I can build wealth for me and my family.
Good. And I know that's a big part of it because, until you have a foundation, a sound financial foundation, a lot of times you can't even think about investing in real estate. And, I wasn't really planning on going down this route, but I'm sure we have people that might listen to this podcast who be interested in reaching out to you or getting more information on what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So how could somebody reach out to you and find out more about getting that financial literacy education?
Yes, I'm on all the social media platforms. Facebook, you can just search Ramon Gary, Ramon Gary. On Facebook, Instagram. Also, you can email me at achievementproperties@gmail.com.
Very good. Very good. Thanks for sharing that information. So you decided that you wanted to get into real estate to do better, to do bigger things, right?
Right.
Walk us through your first transaction, your most recent real estate transaction.
Like I said, it's all about your networking and getting around other people that's already doing the type of things that you may be interested in doing. So just getting around those people, listening to podcasts, reading books. And I heard on a podcast one time, it said, don't wait. If you're interested in being in real estate or becoming a real estate investor, don't wait to start telling people.
All right. So don't wait. Don't wait to start telling people exactly what?
Don't wait to start telling people that you are a real estate investor. So I started doing that. I started, telling people that I was looking for houses. I am a real estate investor. And I was telling my aunt one day that I was a real estate investor and I was looking to get into the real estate game. And she had a friend there that was with her. And so she said, I happen to know about a house that's maybe vacant. I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. She was like, yeah, I really do. I was like, well, what is it? Like 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, do you know? She was like, it's a 3 bedroom, 2 bath. I'm like, you got to take me to the house right now. So we actually jumped in the car, rode just a few minutes down the road. I looked at the outside. It looked great. And I said, do you know the owner? She said, sure I do. So she gave me the owner's information. And I called her and we just started negotiating from there.
Right. So how many houses had you looked at before this happened?
I probably looked at maybe 5 to 10. Just kind of look at them, just kind of evaluating them. But like I said, just doing some research, they say the ideal, or what I was looking for, is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
So you had a clear vision of what type of property you were looking for. Why a 3-bedroom, 2-bath?
3-bedroom, 2-bath. That's kind of standard in this area, and it's very popular. It's easy to rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yeah, I found that seems to be a house that people stay in longer. You know, they usually want that second bathroom because they can have the kids have a bathroom and they have their own bathroom. I've seen the house, so what I really liked about it too is that it had a garage, and you have a lot of people who in this area, because it gets cold in the wintertime, look for a garage as a key feature in a house. So definitely think you made the right choice. But once you saw the outside, talk us through what did you do from there? Like, were you able to get inside or?
Yeah, so we, like you said, I contacted the owner, asked her would she be interested in selling. She said sure she would. So she kind of told me her story, her background about that. So we set up a time that we could meet. She walked me through the house. It did need some repairs, but it wasn't anything too major. I made her an offer. She countered, and I accepted. So we just
between the time that you first saw the house and the time that you made the offer, about how much time was that?
Probably about 3 or 4 days.
About 3 or 4 days. So that was a pretty quick turnaround.
Absolutely.
I know that in some areas that would be considered a little slow, actually.
Okay.
But I think that you benefited from being the only person that was approaching this seller about an offer.
Absolutely.
And that's a big benefit, is when you're the only person talking to the seller, you get full negotiation rights because they don't have a realtor in the middle.
Right.
They haven't been getting offers from multiple people, and you can kind of work the deal in your favor, but also benefit the seller in this case. So that's pretty good. Let's think about like during the rehab process, because I'm assuming it needed some work.
Yes, it did.
What kind of work did it need?
So the house was vacant for about 3 or 4 years. So it needed a lot of plumbing work. We redid the floors. It had carpet down, so we took up all the carpet and did stained concrete. We did the floors, we did countertops. It had some damage in the ceiling from somebody walking in the attic. So we redid that, replaced hot water heaters, just really basically because it was so vacant for so long, just kind of updating, getting the plumbing and stuff back up to date. We did some painting, just some cosmetic stuff, but nothing really too major.
But you're busy. Like, how did you get all of this done? I mean, you're a working professional, right? How much did you do? Did you have to hire any help?
Yeah, so we hired some contractors to do the floors, to do the countertops, and the plumbing.
Okay. But you did some of the work yourself as well.
Actually, yeah, I actually had to get in there, so I actually learned myself how to put in some faucets.
Okay.
So I did all the painting. It had a couple holes in the wall, so we was able to mud and fix those up, repair those holes in the walls. Yeah, so I had to get in there and do some scrubbing and cleaning myself, and say, get your weight up.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, my first house, I got on my knees and I put in, changed electrical sockets, and I dragged the hot water heater out of a closet and dragged a new one in, and did some painting, some floors. Shoot, recently I've had to do something.
Yes.
So definitely have to put in the sweat equity sometimes.
That's right.
And not only does it save you some money, but it also can really allow you to understand what you're hiring people to do when you're looking for contract help. So that's pretty cool that you did some of the rehab work yourself. What did you have any hurdles like along the way of getting the remodel done, or even just from the beginning? Were there any things that challenged you during the process?
Yes, we had some hurdles, and I probably would. Well, the one that comes right to mind is probably most people that are looking to get into the investment or to real estate, the hurdle they have to cross was financing. So I just began to look at my personal financial situation and just kind of look at what I've been doing over the years. And there's a lot of ways that you can begin to get into real estate. But I chose to go the route of looking at my 401k or your 403b. And there's a lot of experts out there that say, you should never touch your 401k or your 403b. But like I said, I just had to look at my personal financial situation. And I've been working at my current job for 12 years. So I looked at my retirement account and how much money I had in that account. And I said, if I do this another 12 years, I just kind of double it, kind of project on how much I will have. So that's I'm looking at almost 25 years working at a job, and I will have this amount of money. Mm-hmm. So, most people work 25 years at a job and retire. So I had to say, is that enough money for me to retire for? Mm-hmm. They say, hey, women lie, men lie, but the math don't lie.
It wasn't going to be enough.
It was not going to be enough. So I had to start thinking and start coming up with some other ways. So, hey, I said, we're going to do it. And just, like I said, look at the benefits of real estate. And it was a no-brainer to me.
So it sounds like you decided to borrow against a 401k from a job where you're actively employed. And I think maybe it's a 403b.
Yes.
And you decided to buy a nice Rolls Royce, or you decided to go on a luxury vacation with that money, right?
No.
What did you do?
So I used that money to make the down payment. Also, I got enough to do the repairs on the house.
Right. So it's important to notice here, if you're listening, that he used the money responsibly. A lot of times, folks will take out those loans and use the money in irresponsible ways. But on this podcast, we talk about buying rental real estate, and we talk about buying assets that are going to generate revenue. And that, in this case, is what Ramon is talking about having done. So if that's one of the tools you want to use or want to consider using, just keep in mind that this podcast is our opinion, our advice. This is the way that we get stuff done. We both got stuff done this way creatively. But you, of course, are going to have to follow the advice of your own CPA, because here on this podcast, we're just talking and you're just listening. All right. So I can understand that the financial part would be a hurdle. Like that could be a part that would really make a lot of people say, I just don't have enough money, or I don't have it here, or I don't want to take it from here. In your case, you get creative and you say, I have this pool and you're going to use it. What was that process like? Was it pretty easy to get to it, or was it a drawn out process?
Yeah, normally I would think it would be pretty hard, just to hearing the other stories and stuff. They say you almost got to cut off an arm to get something, from your 401k or your 403b. But it was actually pretty easy. It actually surprised me how quickly, within 3 or 4 days, they had cut me a check. Well, they didn't cut me a check. Actually put the money in my account. Okay. Of course, I had to prove it and show all the proper documents and paperwork. But it was actually pretty easy. I just called the company directly, talked to some people. And they told me what I needed to have. I submitted the documents, and they had the check, like I said, within 3 or 4 days.
That's pretty amazing. So I want to talk specifically about this deal that you're talking about. And let's talk about the numbers, right? Okay. So what was the purchase price of the house that you bought?
The purchase price was for $45,000.
Okay. And you were able to get some bank financing. Is that why you were able to get a down payment?
Absolutely.
Can you tell us those numbers?
So I had to put 20% down.
Okay, 20% down. And then you also said you were able to fund the renovations from that.
Right.
How much did renovations cost you think?
Around $15,000.
Around $15,000. So if I'm adding this up, I'm thinking you're somewhere having to put in about $25,000, and we're using round numbers here. That's for the down payment and the renovations, and then you've got the purchase price of the house of $45,000.
Right.
Is that right? All right. So This is pretty cool. Like, do you have any idea of what the house is worth now?
The house just right around the corner. I don't exactly, but you just use the comps in the area. So the house right around the corner from me, it's a lot smaller. I think it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Actually sold for $90,000.
Right, and yours is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yeah, and I'm pretty familiar with the appraisals right now in this area, and so you've really created a lot of equity. We're talking about a house value that is now over $100,000, with you having about $70,000 in that property or less.
Yes.
I mean, how does it make you feel that you're able to create that type of equity? 70,000 and let's just say 110,000. So $40,000 in equity created in how many weeks?
Maybe about 8 weeks.
About 8 weeks. How does that feel?
Yeah, it makes you feel great. You know, you read about the stories, you do your research, you hear about other people, but just actually getting in the game and actually creating that equity for yourself, it makes you feel awesome.
Yeah, I remember like when I first started doing it, it's like in my personal job, I can't make $40,000 in 8 weeks. It's like no matter how much work I do,
yes,
I can't make $40,000 in 8 weeks. But you were able to do it in 8 weeks working for yourself.
Working for yourself.
Wow. So is this something that you would do again?
Absolutely. It's definitely, the real estate game is definitely going to be one of the ways that I build wealth for me and my family to create generational wealth.
Okay. So I'm assuming that you rented the house out?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about that. Okay. So how much is the house now rented for?
The house is now rented for $975 a month.
Okay. And what was the time frame on getting a tenant from when the house was ready to rent?
The time frame from when we started repairs was a month.
Okay.
And and the tenant, they were actually on edge. That she actually moved in before I was really ready. So we were still doing repairs, and she was like, "I don't care. I want to go ahead and move in." She
was ready. So did you have to market for the tenant, or how did you find the tenant?
I just put a sign up in the yard, and people were calling me at least every other day. I didn't even have to do any other marketing.
That's it. The sign.
That's it. I just put a sign in the yard, and people drove by. They stopped. They called, and hey, we negotiated from there.
Yeah, and this is a really good market for rentals right now. There's a big need for it. So I'm glad you're able to benefit from that. So you've talked a little bit about this, but specifically, what are your future plans for real estate? Like, are you getting ready to do another deal, or what is your next steps?
Yeah, so I'm currently looking for my next deal. Like I said, I'm interested in single family homes, looking to grow into duplexes, triplexes. I've always liked the game of Monopoly. They say, 4 houses equals 1 hotel. Mm-hmm. So eventually down the road, hey, I maybe even get into the hotel industry. So I'm just looking to continue to build my portfolio.
Yeah, and that's the power of building a portfolio, is now you have this $40,000 in equity that you can decide what you do with next. Whether you're going to get another single family house, or whether you're going to buy a business or whatever. But here, we always promote rental real estate as the means to build wealth for our family. So I'm excited for you. It's been great talking to you. I don't want to let you go just yet because you're my first guest.
Yes.
And since you're my first guest on the podcast, we have to start something.
All right.
We have to start some kind of ritual that we do with first guests.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a question that I'll ask every guest that comes on, every adult guest.
All right. Yeah.
That comes on the podcast from now on. All right. What person in your life influenced you to get involved in rental real estate?
That's a great question. Like I said, just being around other people, you definitely had a great impact on that. Like I said, just reading books. Of course, everyone's favorite one is Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
That's a good book.
Yeah. It definitely opens your eyes up. Definitely opened my eyes up to a whole another side of wealth building that they don't teach in school.
Yeah.
as far as one person, hey, you've been showing me the ropes, hey. So it definitely, I got to give my hats off to you.
Yeah, well, it's been good having those conversations. Having those conversations. I imagine that you've got a happy lady at home that's also pretty influential.
Yes.
Knowing her, how has your wife handled this whole process?
Well, it's kind of, you know, we always fear the unknown.
Okay.
But as you sit down, I think communication is the key. As you talk them through the deals, talk them, you know, what's going on. As long as you keep them up, as long as I keep her up to date, I think she trusts me, and she believes in what we're trying to do. So just keeping that communication open, letting her know, you know, what the details are and what the plans are. And I think she's on board with it.
Well, cool, man. You're ahead of the game. I'm still trying to get that 100% buy-in. But no, my wife is supportive as well, and it's important that you keep that communication open. Yes. I think if I had learned that sooner, things would have been a little bit smoother. But now I'm just, hey, I'm going to buy a house,
right?
And I think it's a little bit more communication needed than just that. But I'll tell you what, it's been great talking to you. You're smiling. It looks like you're happy.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen your phone ring with a tenant calling you about a toilet.
That's right.
So I think you're safe.
They all knew.
And hopefully we can check in with you down the road and see how your first year goes with this property. See if you get any more. I'm sure you'll get more.
Yes.
And see how it continues to bless your life. So I appreciate having you come on the show. This has been the Grab the Map podcast. Again, if you want to reach out to me, I have an email address. It's grabthemap@gmail.com, and I'd love to talk to you. And this is where we don't just look at it, we grab the map.